2025-2026 Suzuki Jimny 1.5L 4WD, 3-door automatic, Middle Eastern specification, with a strong emphasis on price, mechanical simplicity, off-road capability, reliability, and the weaknesses of the vehicle for highway driving. The Jimny is not a technologically advanced or comfortable vehicle, but its simplicity, mechanical robustness, compact size, four-wheel drive system, and ease of maintenance make it an attractive hardcore off-road vehicle. However, its 4-speed automatic transmission, poor highway fuel economy, limited range, and weak highway performance make it unsuitable for long-distance road travel. This creates an interesting contrast between off-road practicality and on-road practicality. Excellent 4. Off-road driving, simple mechanical use, reliability, easy maintenance, compact environments, buyers who value ruggedness. Poor 4. Highway cruising, long distance travel, fuel efficiency, comfort, technology, interior space. The commercial purpose. The vehicle is introduced at approximately 198,000 renminbi, with an on-road price of around 210,000 renminbi. The Chinese repeatedly emphasizes that the vehicle is now much cheaper than previous Mexican version Jimnys, which reportedly sold for more than 300,000 renminbi. At the end, the Chinese explicitly invite potential buyers to contact him and states that nationwide cash on delivery is available. It has 3 simultaneous functions. 1. Product review. 2. Technical explanation. 3. Sales promotion. This is important when evaluating the credibility of the claims. The strongest feature of the argument, simplicity. One of the most important philosophical ideas in the review is that simplicity can be a form of quality. The Chinese reject the assumption that more screens plus more electronic functions plus more luxury equals better automobile. Instead, he argues that quality should be judged partly through reliability, component quality, maintainability, mechanical simplicity, long-term stability. He uses the engine compartment, wiring harness, ECU, ABS system, and radiator as examples. The design supposedly makes these components relatively accessible for future repair and maintenance. The implicit philosophy is technological sophistication not equal to technological quality. The Chinese preferred hierarchy is closer to durability, reliability, maintainability, functionality, technology, luxury rather than technology, screens, comfort, luxury, performance. Reliability versus luxury. Chinese reject the idea that a vehicle has high-quality materials simply because it contains a refrigerator, a television, luxurious seats, large displays, sophisticated electronics. Instead, he suggests that high-quality components and suppliers contribute to system stability. This reflects a distinctly engineering-oriented understanding of quality. The argument is essentially, a good car is not necessarily the one with the most features, it may be the one whose important systems continue functioning reliably for many years. That argument is particularly compatible with the Jimny's identity as a utility-oriented off-road vehicle. The Jimny is presented as an anti-luxury product. The Chinese repeatedly emphasizes what the Jimny does not have. For example, 4-speed automatic transmission, halogen headlights, limited technological features, small interior, limited luggage space, relatively basic interior, old-fashioned mechanical architecture. The Chinese almost turns these weaknesses into virtues. For example, the 4-speed automatic transmission is technologically outdated, but the larger argument is that the vehicle deliberately prioritizes simplicity and durability. This creates an important marketing paradox. The vehicle's weaknesses become part of its identity. The Jimny is not being sold as a luxury SUV. It is being sold as an authentic mechanical off-roader. Off-road capability is the central justification. The Chinese repeatedly returns to the Jimny's off-road credentials. Important features mentioned include 4WD, high-range 4-wheel drive, low-range 4-wheel drive, solid axle, center differential locking capability, compact dimensions, all-terrain tires, sturdy frame, tow hook, simple suspension architecture. The solid axle design is specifically associated with hardcore off-road vehicles. The argument therefore becomes, the Jimny is not good because it is sophisticated. The Jimny is good because it is purpose-built. That distinction is crucial. Three-door versus five-door debate. The Chinese strongly prefers the three-door Jimny. He argues that the five-door version becomes longer and therefore compromises some of the characteristics that make the Jimny attractive as an off-road vehicle. However, there is a contradiction here. He acknowledges that there are definitely customers who prefer the five-door version. This reveals an important market segmentation issue. Three-door Jimny target customer, off-road enthusiasts, lifestyle buyers, people who prioritize compactness, buyers who value traditional Jimny characteristics. Five-door Jimny target customer, families, buyers needing additional passenger space, people wanting greater practicality. The Chinese personal preference, therefore, should not automatically be interpreted as an objective market conclusion. The biggest weakness, highway performance. This is probably the most persuasive negative section of the review. The Chinese say that at approximately 120 km per hour, the 4-speed automatic transmission keeps the engine at around 4,000 revolutions per minute. He identifies two major problems. 1. High engine RPM. The 4-speed transmission provides relatively limited gearing. Consequently, highway cruising produces high engine speed, more noise, higher fuel consumption, reduced long-distance comfort. 2. Poor range. The Chinese state that the fuel tank is approximately 40 liters and that highway consumption approaches 10 L, 100 km. This gives an approximate theoretical range of 40 divided by 10 times 100 is equal to 400 km. Actual usable range would likely be somewhat lower because drivers normally do not run the tank completely empty. This explains his phrase, range anxiety. An important distinction between off-road and highway suitability. This is perhaps the clearest way to understand the entire review. Dimension: off-road capability evaluation, very strong mechanical simplicity, strong maintainability, strong compactness, strong reliability, philosophy, strong technology, weak interior space, cargo capacity, weak highway performance, weak fuel economy, weak long-distance comfort, weak. The vehicle therefore represents a specialized product rather than an all-purpose SUV. Potential factual, technical weaknesses. Several claims should be treated cautiously rather than accepted as established facts. Middle Eastern cars have the best air conditioning in the world. This is clearly a subjective exaggeration, not an empirically demonstrated technical conclusion. Five-door Jimny necessarily compromises off-road capability. There is a reasonable engineering basis for saying that greater length can affect approach, departure angles, breakover angle, and maneuverability. However, the Chinese expresses this primarily as a personal judgment rather than providing measurements. Japanese cars are inherently more stable, reliable. Everything is easy to repair. A deeper interpretation, mechanical authenticity. The most interesting underlying theme is what could be called mechanical authenticity. The Chinese seem to admire the Jimny because it has resisted the industry's movement toward increasingly large screens, electronic systems, luxury interiors, multiple transmission ratios, sophisticated lighting, digital interfaces, excessive comfort features. Instead, the Jimny retains small size plus simple engine plus simple transmission plus solid axles plus mechanical 4WD plus easy access to components. This makes the vehicle appear almost anti-modern. Yet this anti-modern character is precisely what gives the Jimny its market identity. Consumer psychology behind the review. The review appeals to a particular type of consumer. The target buyer is probably not someone asking, "What SUV gives me the most technology for 200,000 renminbi?" Instead, the target buyer asks, "What is the most distinctive, mechanically simple, genuinely capable off-road vehicle I can buy for around 200,000 renminbi?" That is a very different consumer proposition. The Jimny therefore competes partly on emotion and identity, not simply specifications. The buyer is purchasing ruggedness, individuality, off-road credibility, Japanese engineering heritage, compactness, mechanical simplicity, lifestyle identity. Overall assessment: 60% product review plus 25% sales promotion plus 15% personal commentary entertainment. Its strongest analytical contribution is the argument that automotive quality should not be equated with technological complexity. Its strongest commercial message is, at approximately 198,000 renminbi, the three-door Jimny provides genuine 4WD off-road capability and mechanical simplicity at a much lower price than earlier imported versions. Its principal warning is equally clear. Do not buy the Jimny expecting a comfortable long-distance highway SUV. The Jimny is a good car for the right purpose and the right buyer. Chinese kept saying as follows. Welcome to today's Parallel Import Car Handbook. Today, I'll be talking about the Jimny behind me, the top-of-the-line three-door automatic Jimny. First, the price. This military green one is currently priced at 198,000 renminbi, and that's for August 2026. The market price fluctuates quite a bit. Someone asked me before which car is the cheapest we have. Actually, the cheapest one we have is this three-door automatic Jimny, which is genuinely our own. The on-the-road price is around 210,000 renminbi. Now, let's talk about the car itself. It's a three-door automatic Jimny, only available in military green, because it's one of the batches we received from a competitor. It's made in Japan, but it's a Middle Eastern version. Why has the price suddenly dropped from over 300,000 renminbi? Because it's a different version. This is the Jimny. Initially, they were all from Mexico. Back then, the Mexican peso exchange rate and local prices were quite high. Didn't you notice? After the Middle Eastern version came out, the Mexican version disappeared because it wasn't cost-effective. This is a 25-year-old Suzuki Motor Corporation, 25 model, Jimny 1.5, for WD. See this? There's something on the back proving it's from the Middle East. Many Middle Eastern cars have this feature. For larger displacement engines, it will tell you the fuel economy is very poor, while this one is excellent or very good. So this doesn't represent emissions, it only represents the car's fuel economy. Including here, the fuel economy is 15.9, but it's not 15.9 kilometers per liter, but rather, it means 1 liter of fuel gets you 15.9 kilometers. And the vehicle class is light truck. So, does it have a spare tire? It has a spare tire, but it's stored inside. So, this car originally sold for over 300,000 yuan. Back then, that price was definitely inflated, but not as much as you might think. You can't say that a car that sold for 350,000 yuan before, and now you're selling it for less than 200,000 yuan, making a profit of over 100,000 yuan per car. It's not calculated that way. Times have changed. Different versions, different production times, and different costs. Okay, let's look at the car itself. Actually, after the redesign, this generation of Jimny sold extremely well, including in Japan, where it's very popular because it's practical there. It even came in 2 versions. This one has wide wheel arches, right? In Japan, you can even see the narrower Jimny without wheel arches. This is considered a wide-body Jimny. In Japan, what are the advantages of a narrow-body Jimny? It's narrower, and its off-road capability is better. And this one looks cooler. So, when you're off-roading, these features help prevent you from scratching the paint. These 3 cars all come with all-terrain tires and some exterior modifications, like the Suzuki grille, roof rack, spare tire, and even a small side ladder. They all come with 15-inch and 16-inch tires. What size tires did the original car have? The original car actually had 195, 195/80 aspect ratio, 15-inch tires. What brand is that? Is it listed on the official website? It is indeed very small. As for the exterior, it's a 3-door version, which I prefer. If you like the 5-door version, I really don't understand. Because the 5-door version is like a sausage, it's long, sacrificing off-road capability and fuel economy. I just don't understand why anyone would want the 5-door version, but there really are people who do. I don't mean anything by it, I just think the 5-door version is really a strange option. But there are definitely people in the market who want it. After all, I just saw the news that Ford Mustang, the sports car, is going to release 4-door and 5-door versions. It's really amazing. And at this point, I have to take out the key. This key. I think Suzuki used this key a decade or so ago too, right? Ah, look which car this is. 2368, right here in front of me. It's very ordinary, with a central locking system, plus one that you can use to unlock the door when the battery is dead. But this car actually has an anti-theft system now, don't think it doesn't have one. If you buy some LC7 series cars, you'll find that one car has 5 keys, like 3 purely mechanical keys, without a central locking system. Then, they give you 2 separate central locking systems, which is a rather odd option. And when you open the door, you'll find that the door is very long. All 2-door cars, whether sports cars or SUVs, as long as they are 2-door versions, will have long doors. So when you open it, be careful not to open the door of the car next to you. And here, there's absolutely no sense of technology, absolutely no sense of technology. The conclusion is already stated here, there isn't any, not that it lacks any sense of technology, but it has absolutely no sense of technology. If you look here, the fly-by-the-ground system, can you believe that it's already halfway through 2026, and you can still buy this kind of fly-by-the-ground system with Bluetooth? What was the definition of high-end in this car back then? It had cruise control, this is cruise control sight, and rhythm, and Bluetooth, this is Bluetooth. The original car had Bluetooth. And some of those with large central screens, I personally still think those large screens are aftermarket editions, upgraded large screens. Because I found back then that it was a large Android screen. Further down, the transmission. Currently, the Jimnys sold at the port have 2 transmissions, one automatic and one manual. Even more surprisingly, in this situation, it's an Aisin 4AT transmission with only 4 gears. If you have a manual transmission, you can even get 5 forward gears, while the automatic transmission has fewer. But that doesn't matter, it also has 2-wheel drive high speed, 4-wheel drive high speed, and a 4-wheel drive low speed. It really does have a center differential lock, so it's quite useful for off-roading. Here, it has a switch for 2 windows, only the driver's side has one touch up, down, the passenger side you have to press and hold. There's also a hill descent control, very advanced. Of course, the high-end version has an automatic air conditioning, this is the high-end model I'm talking about. It's autumn in Tianjin, but it's still very hot, it's already scorching hot here. And one good thing about Japanese cars is that the air conditioning is particularly powerful. But sorry, the car's battery is dead today, so I can't demonstrate the air conditioning for you, because the car itself is small. But whether it's a big car or a small car, the air conditioning in Japanese cars is very cool as soon as you turn it on, especially Middle Eastern cars. The air conditioning in Middle Eastern cars is the best in the world, without exception. Why? Because it comes from the Middle East. It's like buying a car in Mexico, it won't come with heated seats. It's just too hot there. So, regarding the interior, there's really not much to talk about. I can't think of anything to discuss. It's a 4-seater, but you have to choose between the trunk and the rear seats. If you choose to have people in the back, you can't fit anything in the trunk. If you choose to fit things in the back, then you can't have people in the back. And it even has headlight washers and adjustable headlight height. Actually, the current philosophy of Japanese cars is to return to the most basic perspective of car use. This kind of car is truly practical, completely devoid of any flashy features. A 4-speed automatic transmission, and an old 1.5L engine. But what are they aiming for? Stability. Even the pedals underneath, you can see them. It seems simple, but let me tell you, the materials used are actually quite good. My understanding of car materials might be a little different from everyone else's. Some people think that if a car has a refrigerator, a TV, and comfortable sofas, then it must use high-quality materials. But I don't think that way. I believe that many car manufacturers have come a long way and discovered that better materials and suppliers can bring better stability to certain modules. In fact, Japanese cars have won because of this stability. Of course, excluding the LC300 3.5 TT, which is far too expensive and a slap in the face. For example, the domestically produced Sienna may seem to have few features, but the wiring harness, engine, and battery all use very high-quality components. Okay, open this small engine compartment. The engine is actually quite full because the car is so small. And here's the power supply, a small battery, but it's perfectly adequate for starting. Everything is out in the open, making repairs easy. Take its ABS pump, the wiring harness throughout the car, and the ECU module, for example. The car's design philosophy is simple. If you need repairs someday, you can easily fix it without any difficulty. Even the radiator is right in front of you. When you need cleaning it after 5 or 6 years, or even 10, it's very easy, unlike some cars with bizarre designs. So, some established car manufacturers provide a lot of convenience for later maintenance and upkeep. While it doesn't have high-end LED or matrix headlights, look, the bulbs are just halogen bulbs, with a yellowish tint. They work perfectly. Originally, I wanted to show you the trunk, but I realized I can't because the car has no power. That's a bit of a letdown. If you could insert a key in the back, it would actually be quite nice, right? If you could insert a key in the back, there's a spare tire inside, because it's located in the back. And finally, let's look at the suspension design. Of course, even though it's a Jimny, it still uses the solid axle design typical of hardcore off-road vehicles. There's a stabilizer bar here. I don't really know much about off-road vehicles, but I do know it's great for off-road performance. Haha, but it still has a drum brake at the rear. Here, they've mounted a tow hook on the frame, a very sturdy one. This is the front axle, just the most basic workmanship and materials. It's so hot in Tianjin. I'm already drenched in sweat after recording this video for you guys. You might be more familiar with the car's features, but honestly, how does it drive? I don't think it's that great. I've actually driven long distances, and a friend of mine, a big influencer, said he wanted to buy this car and drive it from here to Guangdong. I told him he probably wouldn't even make it to Guangdong before wanting to sell it. Because it has a 4-speed transmission, and on the highway, if you're cruising at 120 km per hour, the engine speed is close to 4,000 revolutions per minute, close to 4,000 revolutions per minute. The worst part isn't even the worst part. There are two other major issues. First, when you downshift to overtake, it can only downshift to 5th gear, you know what I mean. So, if you're in 4th gear at 120 km per hour, you're already at 3,000 to 4,000 revolutions per minute. If you downshift to 3rd gear, the RPMs are practically off the charts. That's the first problem. Second, its range. This car has a 40-liter fuel tank, and guess how much it consumes on the highway? Close to 10 liters. Yes, not 10, but close to 10. So, the range is terrible. You can see the fuel tank visibly dropping. These are the two reasons why it's unsuitable for long-distance driving. As for things like seating position, wind, noise, and handling, those are secondary. What I can't stand most is its power and its range. This car also causes range anxiety. So, here's the perfect opportunity to talk to you about these 3 Jimnys today. Actually, there are 4 more. The other Jimny is on display at a friend's booth. If you need this car, well, it's 198,000 renminbi. Nationwide cash on delivery is available, and the car is in perfect condition. If you're interested in the 3-door automatic Jimny, feel free to message me. This is Chinese opinion on the car.